OTT has been such an integral part of our life since 2020, and it has not only opened up our world to series and films from across the world, but it's also given actors the opportunity to kind of dabble into different genres and experiment much more. And today we're here to talk about the need for a metric system to kind of gauge the success of OTT platform releases. Well, today I'm joined by some of the talented actors from the industry, and they're going to take this conversation ahead. Hi guys, how are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I am good, thank you. Do you want to pass this on to them?
Hello everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so before we talk a little more, and delve very deep into the topic of having a metric system for the OTT platforms, do you guys as actors feel there is a need for one?
I definitely think so. I think, I've done television for a substantial amount of time, and because of BAC, you need like an independent third party, I feel, that can actually, on television there are TRPs and you actually get to know which show is doing well and which is not. But right now on OTT platforms, I think our metrics is that what's the buzz, if people are liking it or not, if people are talking about it. Hi Shweta.
Hi श्वेता यहाँ पर है
श्वेता त्रिपाठी
श्वेता के लिए
शर्मा।
तालियां
If there's enough buzz around it or not. That's the only way to know. Also word of mouth. That's the only way to know if a show is doing well or not. But otherwise, I think every single channel kind of gives out their opinion of whether a show is doing well, and there's no way to actually know how it fared.
Right. What about you, Fatima?
मेट्रिक सिस्टम है वो खाली हम तक नहीं पहुंचता है तो ऑफ कोर्स वो लोग इवैल्यूएट करते हैं उन्हें पता है इट्स जस्ट दैट हमें नहीं पता एंड मुझे भी लगता है कि होना चाहिए क्योंकि जो मिड लेवल फिल्म्स है ना वो सफ़र करती है क्योंकि क्या हो जाता है कि वो डंप हो जाती है and now especially because and the business module is changing constantly पहले लगता पहले खाली थिएटर्स होते थे तो वो लोग मार्केटिंग स्पेंड प्रमोशन में यूज़ किया जाता था अभी क्या हो गया है कि वो OTT पे जाते पहले OTT वाले वो मार्केटिंग स्पेंड यूज़ करते थे क्योंकि they wanted to promote their films and get more subscriptions now nobody wants to do that spend क्या OTT वाले बोलते कि आप पहले फिल्म रिलीज कर लो ताकि वो मार्केटिंग स्पेंड प्रोड्यूसर्स और स्टूडियोज़ के हाथ में जाएगा डील हो चुकी है स्टूडियोज़ बोलते कि अभी हो गई है तो हम क्यों करें उसमें कुछ गलत नहीं है ये बना गया है ये मॉड्यूल अब बन रहा है चेंज हो रहा है वो चेंज होता रहेगा आई थिंक इफ एज एन इंडस्ट्री वी यूनाइट इफ दैट इज़ अ पॉसिबिलिटी एंड टेक अ स्टांस टू प्रोटेक्ट स्मॉलर फिल्म्स क्योंकि एक फिल्म आई है इस वक्त कोर्ट जिसमें इमाद है किसी को पता ही नहीं है अगर खाली थिएटर्स एग्जिस्ट करते तो थोड़ा प्रमोशन होता बट प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि हमें पता ही नहीं चलता और ये हमेशा मिड लेवल फिल्म के साथ होता है वो मैटर नहीं करता कि उसमें सिर्फ औरतें हैं या वो सिर्फ लड़कों की है या कोई अनयूजुअल टॉपिक के ऊपर है क्योंकि जनरली कोई ऐसे माइनॉरिटी सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर होता है उसको कम अटेंशन मिला जाता है So that's why I feel ये system available और transparent होना चाहिए to the audience, to the actors, to the trade, because then we know what is being made, how much traction we are getting, and people are putting effort and money to make sure that it goes to the audience. That's what I feel.
Adarsh, would you like to chime in on that?
Metric system matlab in terms of like how many people are watching it in terms
of what is it, how do you equate the success of a show or a film that's released on an OTT platform? Like for say a theatrical release, we have box office numbers that gives us a clear picture as to how it's performed, right? So that kind of gives you, us, the audience, the creators to understand how it's doing. So do you think, because OTT platform does not have one clear, transparent metric system, do you as an actor believe that we probably need one right now?
I mean, I know it's easier said than done, especially when I'm not a producer. To say that films shouldn't be made with the mindset of just making money. I feel like that's where essentially I feel like we are going wrong, at least according to whatever I understand it to be. That we're constantly talking about how much the film is made, and then a lot of times actors, and I've heard this from other actors as well, get pitched films from the other side. मतलब ये film 100 करोड़ कमाएगी सर, पहला statement होता है, उसके बाद script सुनाते हैं. So the way to analyze and judge a film shouldn't be purely in terms of commerce. I think there needs to be a larger conversation in general about the way why are we making films, and I mean everybody's answers could be different. It could be to start a conversation about something. It could be to raise awareness about something, or it could be as simple as some dude just trying to tell his story, you know, like an account of his life. But because everything is around money, is why we are sticking to formula. Because we know that certain films have worked, so now producers are like, okay, if this film has worked, then I should make a film like this. Then there's pressure on the writers to write something like that. So I don't know if, in terms of that, if the metric system should exist or not. I feel like it shouldn't. Um, yeah, but that's just my 2 cents on it.
I'm definitely going to come back to what you said, but I'd love for Shweta to chime in here and tell us what she thinks about a need for a metric system for the OTT platforms.
First of all, hello everybody. I agree with everybody over here. But what Adarsh said, it as an artist, it's very important for all of us कि हम इस इंडस्ट्री में ये काम हम जो करते हैं वो क्यों करते हैं. एंड अगर वो हम एक रेस में भागने लगेंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं वो हार्ट एंड सोल ऑफ द स्टोरी ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट जो हो जाता है या फिर जो हमारा होता है वो हम वो आजकल वर्ड है ना जो पॉपुलर हो रहा है डिलुलू, तो वो हम हो जाते हैं. बिकॉज इफ़ यू आर जस्ट गोइंग बिहाइंड नंबर्स, लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड एक्टिंग and when Masan came out and Haramkhor came out, a lot of people used to ask me कि आप commercial film में कब करोगे. And I just did not understand that why are you telling me that the numbers are more important than the kind of stories I'm associating myself with. कि आप मुझे ये क्यों कह रहे हो कि अगर सिर्फ commercial success होगा that means better in whatever way. तो मुझे लगता है कि numbers, yes, they are very important because it is show business and there is money required in the kind of the work that we do, and everybody should be paid for the effort and time they put in. अब जैसे TV का होता है जो TRP होता है and जो box office के जो numbers आते हैं, now I feel what is important is that when a film does well, it's almost like I think the audience, we all have a power कि हम जो टिकट खरीदते हैं वैसी फिल्में और बनेगी. जिन एक्टर्स को हम देखते हैं वो एक्टर्स को ज़्यादा काम मिलेगा इवन विद OTT. नाउ द ब्यूटी अबाउट OTT इज़ कि आप कोई शो जब रिलीज़ होता है आपने तब नहीं देखा. लाइक रिसेंटली आई जस्ट स्टार्टेड सीइंग ओनली मर्डर्स इन द बिल्डिंग जो कि जियो में, आई हैड नॉट सीन इट. एंड आफ्टर सो मेनी ईयर्स जब सीजन 3 आ गया, नाउ सीजन 4 भी सैंक्शन हो गया बनने के लिए, बट आई एम सीइंग इट नाउ. So there are some shows जो एक मैंने एक शो किया है लाखों में एक करके, which is my personal favorite, but that number wise doesn't have the numbers as opposed to some other shows that I've done. So does that mean that is in any way lesser? I don't think so. So for me it's always the heart and soul which is very important, as long as there is a balance between that. क्योंकि सिर्फ अगर नंबर्स के पीछे भागेंगे देन वो आई डोंट नो नंबर्स के पीछे तो फिर वो ना वो एक रैट रेस हो जाती है, एंड दैट डज नॉट पर्सनली एक्साइट मी दैट मच.
Yeah, I feel that business is extremely important because until unless you don't make money, there is no intention. Because there has to be a producer who's mindful, who wants to tell a story. And if the story is said properly and nicely, and it is connecting with the audience, then it will make money, and it is also, you're also creating history. So I think the onus is on the makers, and हम सब यहाँ पे आर्टिस्ट है तो हम यहाँ पे एक पैशन से आते हैं. पर मुझे लगता है कि एक प्रोड्यूसर का माइंड थोड़ा अलग होता है और वो ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि अगर पैसे नहीं होंगे वो फिल्में नहीं बनेगी. तो हमें एक्चुअली वैसे प्रोड्यूसर चाहिए जो थोड़ा रिस्क टेकर्स चाहिए, क्योंकि पैसा बनाना इम्पॉर्टेंट है. लाइट मैन को भी पैसा चाहिए, जितनी बड़ी फिल्मों को इतना ज़्यादा पैसा और अप्रोप्रिएटली मिलना चाहिए, जिसके अगर हमारे स्टेक्स हाई होंगे तो हम लोग उतना एफर्ट भी डालेंगे. So that's what I would just like to add to that.
You know, whenever there's a theatrical release and we see the weekend numbers, we see the opening numbers, and we understand, okay, the film has made X amount of money and, you know, it's doing so well, etc. And that also kind of gives an assurance to the actor how they've performed for the audience, how the audience has accepted them, right? As actors, when there is no metric system, what is it that you all look at? How do you all understand whether your show or your film released on an OTT platform has done well for you all?
I think social media plays a huge, very important role in that. And मैं लाखों में एक ही I was shooting for that. And उससे पहले I think मैं जो काम आया था that was Masan and Haramkhor. And मैं ये shoot कर रही थी and I was coming back home. with my director and DOP. And suddenly तब मिर्ज़ापुर रिलीज होने वाला था. So I was chatting, I was yapping away, and then मैंने right पे देखा hoarding with my face on it. And like that moment for me was so special because उससे पहले the kind of appreciation and जो validation मिला था वो बहुत अलग type का था. And then Mirzapur, I remember when the show came out, the reviews I don't think were that exciting, but suddenly it became a craze, and I feel very happy when people call me गोलू दीदी. मैं एयरपोर्ट पे जाती हूँ, मतलब ये सवाल कि मिर्ज़ापुर कब आएगा, ये मैं ही मतलब I wish I had an answer for this, बहुत जल्दी आएगा. But the love and appreciation you get, and वो आपको मतलब it's energy that you feel. So I think that is a great way to tell. And even again social media, be it Twitter, X, be it Instagram, वो बहुत ज़्यादा now the people can reach to you. Also people in the industry, मतलब the calls that you get, and the calls मतलब जब कोई आता है तो the number of calls, वहाँ पे number really makes a huge difference, because when something comes out you can literally feel that my dad's an IS officer. तो उनके भी मतलब वो जो उनका जो गैंग है, उनका जो बैच है, वो सब भी मतलब चाहे अब मैं किसी पॉलिटिशियन से मिलूँ या किसी गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट से मिलूँ, वो भी मुझसे पूछ रहा होता है कि मिर्ज़ापुर कब आएगा. सो नाउ देन आई गेट टू नो कि अच्छा भाई ये तो मतलब कुछ ऐसी चीज़ है जो सबको पसंद आ रहा है. जस्ट 2 weeks बैक माई फ्रेंड, शी वॉज हियर फ्रॉम बर्लिन, and her mom very cutely she sat me down and she told me कि आप ये काली काली आंखें कि हम इतने बड़े फैन हैं, and तुम लोग इतना टाइम लगाते हो रिलीज करने में, and you don't understand that हम जो फैंस हैं वेट कर रहे हैं. सो ये जो पैशन आपको लोगों से मिलता है, also from the non industry people, that is also a great way to understand कि क्या हो रहा है, and also be called, I love being called with my by my character names. So जो character stick करता है, then people start associating you with that name.
Before we go ahead, can we just welcome Shriya Saran, please?
Hi Shriya.
Well, everything that she said, but I think my biggest admirers and my critics would be my family and friends. That's the first-hand whatever. They're brutally honest. So if and I'm always scared when something is coming out. तो यही होता है कि वो या तो एक बार में ही बोल देते हैं कि उनको बहुत अच्छा लगा या तो नहीं लगा. मेरे लिए वो सबसे बड़ा I think benchmark hai to judge if I could do justice to what I was given, the part that I was given. But like she said, when people call you by your character names, or when you go out, like and sometimes, and I think I am like way too critical about myself. It's almost like I don't like watching what I did. So whether it was very recently, I'll make it quick. Whether it was Brahmastra or like say Sultan of Delhi, I don't know why. In Brahmastra, I thought I'm so outlandish, and I'm talking in Shuddha Hindi. Maybe people are not going to relate to it, and I was scared. And in Sultan, I was like, yeah, it's a big ensemble, and I only come in the 6th episode, and But when I realized, and the kind of love the audiences gave or the critics gave, talking about that, it was important. That character was important. That part was important. So I guess as actors, when we get to do the part, you cannot think about the outcome. You cannot think about the validation. You all you can do is put in your heart and soul and try and get into the skin of the character. And that's something I think all of us do, and that's the only thing that's in our hand. And after that, like she said, it's the audience, it's people that you meet on the road, your dentist, your trainer, all your friends, your family. I think they are your biggest audience and cheerleaders.
It's eventually the village around you that props you up that you need always, right? Fatima, would you like to add to that?
सबने तो सब कुछ बोल दिया, मेरा बचा ही नहीं. जब तक यहाँ पे आएंगे तो वही पब्लिक ही किंग है, क्योंकि वही डिसाइड करते हैं. मुझे खाली ये लगता है, इसलिए मैं बोल रही हूँ कि मैट्रिक सिस्टम मैटर करता है, क्योंकि इट्स नॉट अबाउट डिफाइनिंग सक्सेस और फेलियर. आपको पता है कितने लोग देख रहे हैं अप्रॉक्सीमेटली, तो आपको उस चीज़ का आइडिया मिल जाता है. क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया पे सब लोग नहीं है, Tier 2 Tier 3, उनका पल्स क्या है वो मैटर करता है. तो मुझे लगता है कि अगर हम वो इन्फॉर्मेशन अगर रिसीव कर पाए तो वो बहुत ही अच्छा होगा, ज़्यादा वैलिडेटिंग होगा. रिव्यूज़ भी होते हैं, बट क्या होता है ना, हमेशा रिव्यूज़ और ऑडियंस रिएक्शन सेम नहीं होता है. रिव्यूज शायद अलग तरीके से जज कर रहे हैं और उसमें कुछ गलत नहीं है, वो एक अलग स्पेस से आते हैं. ऑडियंस एक इमोशनल स्पेस से आती है. तो अगर हमें वो चीज़ भी पता चल जाए तो और वैलिडेटिंग होता है, ओनली नॉट फॉर एन एक्टर बट डायरेक्टर एंड द मेकर्स एंड द प्रोड्यूसर्स, बिकॉज देन दे नो कि हाँ ये पल्स है ऑडियंस का. और जिसको चैलेंज करना होगा वो बोलेगा कि ये लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है, लेकिन मुझे ना ये चैलेंज करना है, मेरे को ये कहानी किसी और तरीके से बोलनी है या कोई और कहानी बोलनी है ताकि मैं माइंड शिफ्ट कर सकूं. तो वो मेरा ओपिनियन है.
Are you going to say everyone has said everything already, or do you have something to say?
I think I realized a couple of years ago that as actors or as artists who are, whose work is out there for the public to judge, it's very easy to be surrounded by yes men. And then it's very hard to differentiate between what's just being said for effect versus what's the truth. I still struggle with it. And, I'm lucky that my elder brother watches a lot of films and is interested in cinema, and at the same time is brutally honest with me about what he feels about my work. So there have been times when a particular character of mine has been appreciated, but then he would sit down with me and talk about like each scene, and that really helps me to sort of revisit my character and how I built around it, and everything else they said. Like, I guess that when the audience sometimes knows you by your character and not your name, it's a win because your character stayed with them. They might not know me as Adarsh, but a lot of times they just call me Dopa. Like they meet me at the airport and they're like Dopa. So I guess, yeah, I mean, when a character stays with the audience, it's a win. And of course, like when your peers message you, and when a director that you really want to work with messages you, or a writer that you really want to work with messages you, I think that is also a very big win.
I'm going to start the next one with Shriya since she just joined us. Shriya, of course, we've been talking about the need for the metric system for OTT platform releases and whether there is a need for it and how does one kind of gauge the success of streaming platform releases. I'm going to ask this question to all of you, of course, but I'm just going to start with her. When you have a release, right, there is no stress of, say, opening numbers. There's no weekend number stress, right? Does that, as actors, for all of you, because it takes that stress away, are your lives little better and different on a release day? Apart from the nerves, of course, that I get.
But I think what happens with OTT is that when you're watching a film, and why I enjoy watching on a platform is because when I'm watching it, I watch what I like to watch. And it's not affected by has it done well or how many people are sitting around me in the theater. I like the character, and it might not be something that I've seen before, and I watch it and I love it, and it stays with me. Do I feel stressed? Yes, there's been work of mine that was released on OTT and films, and then people were like, they liked it. It reached out more people, so I enjoyed it more because then more people saw it. As an actor, will I like it more if I know if it's done well? Beyond, like he said, people calling his character by his name, or I don't know, because maybe it'll help me understand what kind of work I should do more. But as an actor, I think if I think too much, or as a filmmaker, you think too much, then it becomes a formula, right? So you have to do something with your heart. So somewhere I kind of like the whole idea that I can just watch what I like and meet a friend like, and actually, like I met her at the red carpet and I said I really liked you um, as a Kashmiri girl.
Modern
And-
love, Lali.
Yeah. Or I was working with her and she was like, I don't think this is working. And I'm like, you're looking really nice. And she was looking really nice. Like she said, truly, she doesn't know that she's beautiful. She has no bloody idea. And like I have seen your work, and I when I see you sometimes, I see you as a character, and I'm like, yeah, but this is, and it's beautiful. I read White Tiger and I loved the film, and it's amazing that you've done it. So when I see you guys, I don't remember your name and I remember you as characters, even me as an actor, so that I understand how people feel about that. Well, that's the biggest win, yes. And I'm not a producer, so I don't know if I should know the numbers. I can only talk about it from an actor's point of view.
Shweta?
एक तो दिस इज हाउ आई फील पर्सनली, दिस इन नो वे सिंग कि लोगों को कैसा होना चाहिए या क्या करना चाहिए. तो मेरे तो नंबर कभी स्कूल में भी नहीं आते थे, तो मुझे कभी भी किसी भी एग्जाम का टेस्ट का टेंशन नहीं होता था. एंड आई फील सो ब्लेस्ड एंड ग्रेटफुल फॉर दैट, क्योंकि आई थिंक आई वुड बी अ डिफरेंट पर्सन अगर वो होता. सो व्हेन इट कम्स टू बॉक्स ऑफिस, लाइक व्हेन आई रिमेंबर Masan was releasing, and that was my first feature that was going to be out. All of us were quite numb. We were happy and we were excited, and you really hope that when it comes out, people will like it. Be it हरामखोर, मतलब मुझे तो याद भी नहीं है कि कितने number of theaters में release हुआ था, because again that for me personally is not a metric to measure the quality of the product. अब Masan will obviously release in lesser number of theaters because the kind of story that it's trying to say. Gonkesh भी जब release हुई थी तो numbers have never excited me. Having said that, obviously if more people are watching, you feel happy about that, because आप जब कुछ create करते हो and जो हम characters play करते हैं वो काफ़ी physical and psychological toll भी ले लेते हैं, so you want your story, your art, your craft to reach more people. But that is why numbers excite me, not because कि मेरे लिए I love to travel the world with film festivals, because I want different pair of eyes from all across the globe to see my work. That is driving, is what gets me going. When I मतलब जब हम कान फिल्म फेस्टिवल गए थे विद मसान और जब LA गए थे, तो वो एक अलग एनर्जी, एक बज होती है. एंड आई रियली एम अ वेरी एनर्जी वाइब ड्रिवन पर्सन. तो वो मुझे अच्छा लगता है. प्रेशर OTT पे भी आना या फिर उस पे भी आना, आई रियली होप आई वुड नेवर वांट टू फील दैट प्रेशर व्हेन आई टर्न अ प्रोड्यूसर. देन येस, बट अगेन फॉर मी प्रोटेक्टिंग your core, what you believe in is very important, because जैसे ही आप कुछ और सोचने लगो ना, मुझे नहीं उतना एनालाइज करना है. एज एन एक्टर आई एम वेरी सेल्फिश. आई पिक अप रोल्स जो आई नो कि ये करने में मुझे मजा आएगा, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट जस्ट वेयरिंग अ कॉस्ट्यूम और यू आर नॉट जस्ट पुटिंग अ स्कार ऑन योर फेस. when Mirzapur season 2 happened, I really went down a spiral, and coming out of that was very difficult, because all you're thinking about is revenge and blood, and people who you love, they've been taken away with this because of this other character. Now obviously I know it's all fictional, I know ये असलियत में नहीं हो रहा है. सबके अलग अलग मेथड्स होते हैं एक्टिंग करने के लिए. जब मैं करती हूँ, आई डू अ लॉट ऑफ ब्रीदिंग. तो आपकी हर बॉडी सेल को थोड़ा पता है कि आप एक्टिंग करो. मतलब आई होप यहाँ पे अगर जो एक्टर्स हैं, इफ़ यू कैन डिसकनेक्ट देन दैट्स अमेजिंग. बट वो मैं नहीं कर पाती हूँ. इवन इन 3 आई वॉज रेडी कि अच्छा सीजन 2 में मेरे साथ ये हुआ था, सीजन 3 आई बी एबल टू हैंडल इट बेटर. No. Again, I went down a spiral, only to again wake up and realize that, oh, I need to shake off Golu. And I need to be more in touch with who Shweta is. I used to psych myself with, Golu ki playlist, which is again, was so hard. And then I started listening to It's the Time to Disco, to be in touch with myself and my feelings again.
We are slightly short on time, so I'm going to ask one quick question. When a film releases, again, the numbers drive your next opportunity. It drives the next feast. It drives a lot of stuff, right? Whereas an OTT, again, without a marker, there is nothing that's driven that comes from opportunity. So how does one get the next project? Is it who you've worked with? Is it just based on the kind of work you've done?
Can I take that? I think work begets work. It depends upon, like, when anybody who sees what you've done or how you have played your last part. Also, the fact, and I think we may want to do a lot of stuff and we want to work with a lot of directors. A lot has to do with the makers also, as to how they perceive us and how they think that we can play a certain part or we can fit into a certain role. So I think it's a both-sided thing, and it does, of course, like Fatima has been saying in every answer, that the metric system is important, and which is why you will get to know if people are watching, if directors are watching it. I think so. It's an amalgamation of everything, that whether how you've played your part, how much work you're doing, how versatile you are. I think it's a collective thing of everything. You want to add something to that?
नहीं, जो आपने कहा बिल्कुल सही है, क्योंकि बेसिकली मुझे लगता है कि आपकी एक मार्केट वैल्यू हो जाती है. इन दी एंड जितना भी हम नहीं चाहेंगे, हम एक प्रोडक्ट है. एटलीस्ट मैं बाकी लोगों से मैं
No, I agree.
उनका नहीं बोल रही. हम एक प्रोडक्ट है और आपकी एक वैल्यू है. आप एक फिल्म करते हो जो लोगों को पसंद आती है, आपकी मार्केट वैल्यू बढ़ जाती है, उसके कारण आपको और काम मिलता है. मॉडर्न लव लोगों को पसंद आया, लोगों में थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट आया, बट बिकॉज आई लुक्ड वेरी डिफरेंट, आई एक्टेड इन अ वेरी, आप टाइपकास्ट भी हो जाते हो. आपको एक डायरेक्टर या एक ऐसा विजनरी चाहिए जो आपको एक अलग किरदार में देखना चाहेगा और आपके इमेज को ब्रेक करना चाहेगा. तो वो एक्साइटमेंट कैसे क्रिएट होती है, उसके बहुत सारे लेयर्स हैं. अभी वो मैं टू बी ऑनेस्ट डिफाइन नहीं कर सकती, क्योंकि वो इतना लेयर्ड है. पब्लिक का भी होता है, डायरेक्टर्स का भी होता है, मेकर्स का भी होता है. उनका चैलेंज होता है खुद में कि मैं चाहता, और ये मुझे बोल चुके हैं, यू नो आई वांट यू टू लुक डिफरेंट, आई वांट टू क्रिएट समथिंग डिफरेंट दिस टाइम, जैसे कभी लोगों ने देखा नहीं हुआ. करा लो भाई. खुशी खुशी
You have
करा
to
लो.
experiment.
पर मैंने पता है एक चीज क्या सीखी है कि आप बस काम करते रहो, काम आता रहेगा आपके पास. इतना मैंने अपने एक्सपीरियंस से जरूर सीखा है.
I agree, but I honestly feel like the system that you're talking about. Last so many years that I've been part of film industry, what happens is sometimes you'll have a big hit. मतलब बहुत लोगों ने फिल्म को पसंद किया, सबने देखी, मगर ज़रूरी नहीं है कि उसके बाद आपको बहुत काम मिल जाएगा. Because maybe it was a commercial hit and a director doesn't want, or उसको it's all a luck end of the day. और कभी-कभी the film hasn't done well, मगर it was received beautifully by critics or directors, उसके बाद आपको बहुत काम मिलता है. तो ऐसा कोई लॉजिक नहीं होता. ऐसा कोई नहीं होता कि हिट फिल्म के बाद आपको बहुत हिट काम मिलता रहेगा. It's your luck. And also too many things matter.
Right. Thank you so much, all of you. Metric system or no metric system, here's wishing all of you great films. May you guys experiment with great genres and have great
मुझे तो
successes
मजा
to
आ
your
रहा था
name.
बात करने में यार, इतना
मजा
जल्दी
आया.
खत्म हो गया.
मुझे भी बहुत मजा आया. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.